Oh, look how tall I am. Oh, I can't do that. That hurts. Shut the door. I'm not heating the whole damn neighborhood. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Old Man Gamer Network. I am Combat Carl, and we are continuing with our very basic series for EVONY, The King's Return. No kidding, super basic. I don't know where to find anything type of basic. So we're starting kind of a two-part sub-series on our very basic guide. We are going to talk about combat, and today we're going to talk about monster combat. And one of the reasons we're doing monster combat today is because our alliance or our ruling class on our server has decided that we are going to have an NAP, a non-aggression pact, a no attack players period of time before our upcoming server war. So from midnight server time on Sunday to 9 o'clock server time on Friday, there is no attacking players, no attacking sub-cities, player sub-cities, no attacking tiles, which we shouldn't be doing anyways, no attacking relics, which we shouldn't be doing anyways, that type of stuff. So we're going to have to wait to do our PvP series until after the next server war. Let's get on with this. We've already completed our daily tasks. We have our 3 builders kind of going at it. I've cleared all of my quests. I don't have any items that need attention down here on the bottom. I've collected my puzzle piece. I have collected my daily logins from up over here. We have 7 days left in this Christmas event, and that gives us 7 days to kind of do some of these things. Login rewards only goes for 7 days. Crazy eggs only goes in for 7 days. We don't have very many hammers right now because, well, we haven't killed anything. And we haven't triggered anything in King's Path. I don't think, oh no, we did. We taxed resources 3 times. So that got us a 50k gold box, some general experience, got us a green material chest, and it got us a 10-minute speed up. So the more you tax your resources, the more you get these rewards. Here are rewards that you get for gathering food from outside the city, not the stuff in front of your city wall, but out off of resource tiles. That's for food and lumber. Same thing here for stone and ore. The tipping point is 5 mil, and if you collect that, then you trigger these off during the period. Days 2 through 5 are locked off, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to collect 99 of these chests, because I guess that's supposed to get you some sort of nifty general reward. What has he got? Increase your range troop attack by 15%. That's a buff. And reduces enemies' mounted troop and ground troop defense by 15%. That is a debuff when general is leading the army to attack. Well, that's alright. Pretty sure we're not going to get that, at least not this week. So these Christmas events are still going on. By the way, this is kind of fun. The snowball event. If you see somebody on an attack run, you could throw a snowball at them for 100 gems and it slows them down for a minute, and they don't know who threw it at them. So that could be a fun time. Let's get back to what's going on. We have upgraded our keep to level 10. Our academy, which you can't see, our academy is at level at level 9. We have run into a funding problem because we've been plowing through a lot of these research tasks, and we're starting to run into a cash flow problem. So what we are Just going to show you where we're at because this pertains to what we're talking about. I'm 10 for 10 on conscription. That has increased the capacity of our training troops. We are working our way through the attacks. There's a feather stick attack here. That looks like it seems to be upgrading, or no, that's this one. The infantry armor is upgrading, but this is, we're 5 out of 10 for this, for the feather sticks. We're 5 out of 10 here for the pokey pokes, and we're working our way down. This is going to increase the capability of our combat skills, as they were. 8 on the tavern, 9 on the hospital, 7 on the embassy, 7 on the war hall. We still haven't unlocked the Holy Palace. That's at the next level, which is going to be 11. Where are we at? 9. Going into 10 is upgrading for our rally spot. So right now we can send 13,600 troops. When this is, I think this is when this is completed. That's a good question. I don't have the brain power today to figure it out. I got all 3 of my types are upgrading. We are building some traps. We are building some siege equipment. We are finishing an upgrade on our forge. Walls are at 10, and then we are slowly getting all of this stuff down here sped up. So let's get to the fun of the fun. I'm going to tell you what I know, what I have figured out. There is tons and tons and tons more about this combat kind of stuff than I know. But I'm going to tell you what I do know, and if you have any helpful hints, be sure to put them down in the comments below the sermon notes on the video, because there's a lot of info out there. There's a lot of little tricks. The developer of this game is exceedingly tight with information that they release. So what we do know a lot of the time is found out just by people like us testing things and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. So here's my understanding that combat is a turn-based game. And when we are attacking a monster, first of all, there are 2 types of monsters. There's the common monster. Here we go. There's a common monster, which is this little guy here. This, let's go to attack just because we'll see what it is. It's a level 1 robber. This is a common monster. And then you see this guy with this little pulsing orange kind of target spot on him. Also, he has the word boss in his name. I don't know about you, that's kind of a dead giveaway. This is a boss monster. And if we click on him, it's going to tell us boss. We're not quite at boss monster level yet. We're going to look at this guy first. So again, my understanding of how this works, because the mechanics for attacking monsters and the mechanics for attacking another player, they're not the same. There's a bunch of differences. So what I can tell you is the goal of doing a monster attack is you want to deal as much damage as you can when you initially fight this guy, because we have initiative, is what we would call it in the old school pencil and paper days. When 2 people would come to clash, in those days you would roll for initiative. Each of you would roll a die, and whoever had the higher number is the guy who attacked first. My understanding is that with monsters, the attacker, which is us, we have initiative. We get to go first. And if we come at the dude, if we come up to this level 1 robber with a big enough punch the first time, and if we break through his defense and do enough damage to him that he's done, the fight's over. So that is our goal, is to be like, I don't know if you've ever seen the series One Punch Man. That's the goal, is to hit the microphone with your thumb. So I don't know if you've ever seen One Punch Man, but we want to be like that. The goal is to deal so hard a hit with so much force behind it on the very first punch that we go through the defenses, we do enough damage to the HP that the fight's over. If we don't, then he gets a turn, and he's going to come at us awful hard. And if anytime either one of these parties has a wounded rate that exceeds 10%, the fight's over. That's how you lose it. When you are doing monster fighting, we are not having players killed. We are having players wounded when we're doing battle with monsters. That's why you will see in the battle reports, which we see coming up, I mean, even though if you get your butt handed to you, it's going to be wounded troops and you will lose. So again, the ideal situation is you just pound him, you get his wounded rate up over 10%, and then we win the battle. If not, he comes at us, and if he wounds us more than 10%, then we lose the battle. If he wounds us less than 10%, then we get another turn, and it's going to go back and forth like that. That's pretty much how it happens. Now, in this game, that doesn't last very long. You don't get to see any of that. It all takes place behind the scenes. The animation is, for the most part, fairly similar. So all of your input, everything that you can do to affect this battle, you do before the battle ever happens. So we are going to take a stab at this level 1 robber. So we click on it, and we've got 3 options. We can either share it. We can share it with the alliance that we're not in, so that's not going to go anywhere. We could share it with our friends. We don't have any friends. We could share it with the world. The world doesn't care. So if we go to bookmark, then we can add him. If we are, say, if we're coming up with a list of targets, we can do that. We do the same thing when you're Santa hunting. Sometimes you'll come up with a list, and then you'll go and you'll work your way through the bookmarks to just be efficient with that. And again, you can classify it as a favorite, you can classify it as a friend, you can classify it as an enemy. You can give it a new name if you want to. There's all kinds of options. And then the third option is we can attack it. And when you hit the attack button, you're going to get some information. I call this a fight card. It's kind of like boxing. You're going to get who's in this corner is us, level 11 nerf herder, and then over in this corner is the level 1 robber. You are going to get some text here. It is going to kind of give you a Vegas style prediction on how this battle's going to go. If it says winning odds extremely high, that means that our combat power is within 90% of what our enemy's combat power is. It's not a precise figure. It's kind of a wag, if you know what I mean. If the text says your winning odds are high, now you're kind of in the 75% range. And my understanding is that this isn't an odds to win. This is you are in the range of statement. So we can be within 75% of whoever our enemy is. If it says medium, you're at 50-50. And, those are not really good odds. So, especially here in the beginning, I think we're just going to stick with these extremely high predictions for the time being. Now, we're also going to get a little bit of information down here. It tells us this is a ground troop type. We already know from building and developing our troops, that there are 3 kinds of troops. And if we go back into our city view, then we can go up here to our conveniently co-located training areas. And if we go here to the ground troops, it's going to tell us ground troops possess a battle advantage over ranged troops. It's going to tell us another hint over here. Ranged troops possess a battle advantage over mounted troops. And strangely enough, if we go up here to our mounted troops possess a battle advantage over ground troops. It's our combat triangle. And then there's kind of a 4th group in there called siege engines, and just think of it like artillery. It works great at long distances, but once you get a troop up close to it, it doesn't take a whole lot to take it out. They're heavy hitters, and they have very little defense. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. So let's go back to our battle screen. Here's our level 1 robber. We're going to attack him. It says ground troop type. So if we think about our combat triangle, if we are going after a ground troop, then we are going to want to bring mounted troops to the fight. So you just get that kind of into your head, that range has an advantage over mounted, mounted has an advantage over ground, ground has an advantage over range. Yes, you can beat ground with range, and that has to do with the levels, the tier of your troops. You can also just massively overwhelm them with numbers. There's a lot that goes into it, but this is just kind of a general saying. It's going to give us something here that has nothing to do with anything, a cruel and raged robber. It is going to give us the X and Y coordinates of our battle, and then it's also going to tell us what we could potentially get out of this battle. We could be awarded a white material chest, or we could get 1K of lumper, or we could get 1K of food, or we could get something called a medal. And medals are necessary when we want to upgrade our general's star level. When we talked about our very brief overview of generals and their attributes and what you can change and how you can change them, under the star section we had to have some medals, and this is one of the sources of those. So if we hit attack, we are now going to be brought up to our March screen, and this is how we stack the deck in our favor. We have something across the top called presets, but they are all locked. If we click on them, it's going to tell us you got to get to level 11 in order to use this, so that doesn't do us a lot of good. The first thing that we have to do is we have to pick a general. So we're going to click on Cleopatra. It's going to bring us up our select a general dialog. Here is Spartacus. What we are concerned about is attack and defense. Leadership and politics can play a role in a battle, but your big important players are the attack, how hard I can hit, and the defense, how hard I can resist that attack. And we're at 110 attack, 112 defense here. And if we go to Cleopatra, she's 89 attack, she's 128 defense. That's not so hot. If we go down to John Paul Jones, he's 103 attack, he's 95 defense. But if we go to his general skill, if he's a historic general, he will have a skill in that number 1 skill slot. His skill, increase mounted troops attack by 20%. Well, it just so happens we have to do a mounted attack. So I think we'll probably go ahead and we'll select him. So if we click on John Paul Jones, we get to this further general page. We've gone over this before. And we have done a couple of things. We have gotten some items that we could possibly put on him to help us win this battle. If we click on the weapon tab, we don't have any weapons. If we click on the armor, we don't have any armor. If we click on shoes, oh, we could possibly have a pair of shoes. Ground troop defense, we can put these on. It's not going to do us any good because we're not using ground troops, so probably not going to put those on. If we go over here to the helmet, this buckskin power at 400, siege machine defense, we're not using siege machines, so I don't know if that's going to do us any good. If we go to the cloth, ground troop attack or food gathering speed, and neither one of those do us any good. If we go to the fancy pants here, mounted troop defense, okay, now we're talking. And I'm so lucky we have 2 pair of those. So we're going to go ahead and click wear, and that has a base power of 400. If we want to, we can go down here and we can go into the forge area. We could increase the star. We could buy a star, which would get our troop defense from 6 to 6.6%. Or we could even go to refine, and for 25k gold and 3 of these refining stones, we could get some sort of ability, additional buffs for this. We're not going to do that right now. We're just going to wear our vagrant pants, and then if we go to ring, what does this do? Killing monster XP, siege machine attack, that doesn't help us. Range troop load, that doesn't really help us because we're probably not going to carry anything back. Siege machine attack doesn't help us. Increase gold production speed in subordinate city, none of that is helpful to us at all, so we're just going to bypass that. We just right now have this one additional item that we can use. So that is the general that we're going to pick. And then now let's go down and see what we have for troops. We have 3,770 tier 2 hussars, which gives us a combat power. If you click on this down here, it'll tell you the troop power. I call this this is the combat power. I have a troop power of 24,500. I have 13,600 in my march. I'm only going to use 3,770 of that. My troop load is 40,000, so I could carry 40,000 of something. And then this battle is going to cost me 6 stamina to take my troops to the target area, battle him, and then come back. So out of the 100 stamina that I have, I'm going to use 6 of it. And that's another one of those, once you pay the price, you get what you get. So it doesn't matter if we win or lose, we still use this amount of stamina in order to make that thing happen. And then all we have to do is click this march button. It's going to take us 24 seconds to get there. And once you click that button, it's hands off. You're going to march to the target, you're going to do battle, you're going to march back, it's going to be over, and then we're going to get a report. We'll back out to this screen because we've determined that we're going to use a mounted troop attack. So as the Monarch, we control everything on our map. We control our generals, we control our troops, and we have things that we can use to stack the battle in our favor. And this is our Monarch gear. So we're going to see if we have anything that's going to help us. I only have one piece of Monarch gear in the staff slot, and that is for siege machine attack. It doesn't help us, so we'll leave that as it is. If we go down to the Grail, we have 3 different Grails. We have one that is a ranged troop HP, and HP stands for hit points or health points, and that is how tough you are if someone breaks through your defense. and that is going to be the troop HP of 5%, and it's going to add 25 onto whatever the base amount is. If we go to this one, this is for siege machine, and then if we go down here, this is for all troops, but it's only a 3% boost. So we're going to select the Wind Grail, which is going to give us a 5% HP boost, and it's going to tack on 25 to our HP stat. We go down here to the Courage Horn. We've got a speed up for marching. The guy's right outside the front door. It's not going to take that long. We have a troop load as well. We're not carrying anything. This is handy when you are harvesting resources, when you are out gathering resources, because your troops can carry an additional 5%. But we're going to go with the march speed. Over to this side, this has all got to do with training and researching, and it doesn't really have anything to do with our combat goings on. If we go over here to the Ares decoration, right now we are on all troop defense at 3%. And if we click up here, we have a ranged troop defense. We get a 5% bonus, and then we also get a plus 10 modifier onto our, I would assume that's onto our base stat, which you can't really see, I don't think. So we're going to confirm that we're going to go with that. And then down here, this top level is for producing. So this is going to speed up. Right now we have it selected for the fire crystal, which helps our ore production by 5%. The ones down here on the bottom are for resource gathering. So if you know you're going to go out and you're going to gather stone, what you should do is you should tailor your Monarch gear, put it on so that you go to your resource, and when you arrive at your resource and start gathering that, then you can change it. So we're just going to leave that the way it is. So we have boosted, we've done what we can do up here to help us win this battle. We're going to back out of here. We're going to go back into our combat mode. We're going to make sure that we want to have John Paul Jones as our attacker. We want to make sure that we are going to attack with our tier 2 troops. We could also add in our tier 1 troops. That may have an effect on our wounded rate. Because when you ideally you want to strike at a monster with a single tier of a single type of troop. In fact, you know what? Let's just take that out. We're going to strike them with our 3,770 tier 2 hussars. We're going to see what happens. Here we go. We're going to click this button and it's going to happen. So there's our stamina cost right there. So there we are, like a raging herd of turtles marching to our target. We get a countdown timer or a progress bar, how far it's going to get. The robbers are already lashing back at us, and we are doing the stompy stomp with the horse and the pokey poke, and we're going to see what happens here. Oh, the target has disappeared, and it says we are returning. So hopefully that means that we have won. The game has been kind of glitchy today, not just on this computer, but also on a couple of other phones and some other people I've been talking to. So it says we have returned, and if we go to mail, we should have gotten a report, and we didn't. What's going on? Well, this is super irritating because we fought. You know what? Let's go back to here. Let's see if by any chance Yeah. Do I have any wounded in my hospital? No. So let's go. Now we're doing some troubleshooting here. Let's go to our rally spot. Let's look at our troop details. And we should have, okay, we have 3,770 Hussars. So we don't have any wounded troops as evidenced by the hospital. We also don't show anything there. And you know what else we can do? We're going to go to our generals page and we're going to look at our general stats. I don't have any XP. So I don't think that battle happened. You know what we're going to do? Stand by. We're going to restart this. So we're getting BlueStacks started again. Yeah, BlueStacks is still giving us 3.84.13. Now let's see here. Aha. Okay, we already did that this morning, but here, kill regular monsters for one time. So that battle did happen. That battle happened, but we just didn't see any of it. We got caught up in a loop or something. Like I said, the game has been kind of glitchy for a lot of us today. Kill regular monsters for one time. What do we get? I get 33 1K bundles of food. That's going to be loose. That's going to go up into my top bar. I get 2 50 Monarch XP books, 2 5-minute speed ups, and 3 100 general XP books. Let's go ahead and claim that. So now let's go back. We're going to look into our mail, and there's the report that for some reason didn't show up. So we're going to click on this. Every time you have a battle, you're going to get a report, whether you win or whether you lose. And no, go away. So you like to see the yellow, because the first time you beat a monster, you get what they call first down rewards. This is the first time we have killed a level 1 robber. Here's the X and the Y of where it happened. If we wanted to go and see where the carnage ensued, it's going to give us a date and a time stamp, and that time stamp is my local time stamp. And if I go here to server time is 8:58. So just note, if you're trying to decode these, sometimes some things will tell you when something happened server time, but this report gives you a time based on your local time. So as a first down reward, we get a whopping 1,000 extra food, 1,000 extra lumpers. We get prestige points to the tune of 50, and we get 500 Monarch XP. That's a bonus. So if we hit another level 1 robber, we are not going to get this, but we are going to get what you see that is just a number is a fixed what you're going to get. When you hit a level 1 robber, you're going to get 100 Monarch XP, you're going to get 100 General XP, you're going to get 10 prestige points. We're not in Alliance, so we don't get any Alliance points or Alliance honor. Now, these that have a little asterisk beside them, this comes out of what we call a drop table. And a drop table is a listing of all the possible items that winning this battle could give you. And if you get a drop table that has percentages on it, then somebody has gone in and figured it out. So we have gotten 1,000 lumber, we have gotten 1,000 food, and we've gotten 1 metal. Now on the drop table, the metal here could be listed at 100%. So if you have a battle and you are always getting a medal, then It's located, and it has this little asterisk beside it. It is in the drop table portion of it, but you're getting it awarded every time. So it'll say, item, metal, quantity 1, percentage 100. Whereas this 1K food, it might be 50-50, or it might be 7%, or it might be 92%. Could be any of that. We didn't lose any power. You lose power by having troops wounded and taken out of action. So we sent 3,770 cavalry troops in, and all of them survived. We had no wounded. We had no killed. We had none deserted. And we didn't have any souls saved. We'll get into all that later on. When you are fighting a monster, this is the number that you're going to look at, how many wounded you had. When you are fighting another player, this is the number that really hurts you. If you are trying to take an NPC sub-city, a subordinate city, if you are doing a battle, it says NPC sub-city Powell. And if you attack that, and he's stronger than you, and you come back and this number says 3,767 killed, that means you have to make those troops over again. If they're in the wounded when you're fighting monsters up here, then that means that they've gone to the hospital, and you just have to spend time and treasure to heal them to get them back into the game. Our general, it'll tell us it's John Paul Jones. He's a level 1. His power is 14.4 thousand, and his status is survived. You have 3 options. You can save this if you want to save this as to come back and refer to it as this is our very first ever epic battle. You can trash it. You can share it. Again, you could send it to the alliance that we don't belong to. We could send it to the friends that we don't have, or we could send it to the world chat and they don't care. So that is our very first battle. Attack. We're going to send 10 cavalry troops. This is the last one. If we don't die, if we don't fail at this one, I don't see the point. So sleepy. Something else that you can do if you want to see where the target's at. If it's a long ways away, you can press target. It will center your target up. The other thing that you can do is you can double click this or double tap it, and it'll do the same thing. It'll put your target right there in the middle. Here we go. Oh, are you kidding me? Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. Monster report. We defeated the monster again. Finally, we got a wounded troop. 1 wounded troop times 2 gives you your power, my lost power. So that means that our Monarch power went down by 2 points. But more importantly, what we get to show you is we're going to go back to the city view, and we should have a wounded troop in the hospital. And there it is. There's our hospital, and this is what it does when you get a wounded troop in there. It's here to get your attention, so we'll click on it, and it gives you the options. You can upgrade it. We know how to do that. If we go to detail, it tells us that our hospital can hold 35,000, but because of some bonus that we have somewhere, we get an additional 7,500 places. And if you want more information, you click on it, it's going to give you a chart, and it's just going to tell you we're at 35,000, and that contributes 670 power to our rating. So if we're going to go in here and we're going to click heal, and it's going to tell us we have 1 guy in the hospital, and out of the total capacity of 42,500 that it can hold. And if we want to heal him, it's going to cost us 16 food, and it's going to cost us 16 lumber to heal this troop. We can instant heal him for 1 gem, or we can click the heal button and wait the painstakingly long 3 seconds, and he will be healed and returned back to service. So heal, 3, 2, 1, and there he goes. He's going to ride back and join his battle buddies, all lined up, ready to go back to the next adventure. So anyways, super basic combat. There's a lot more to learn, but this is going to get you going, and this is going to get you set up so that you have a solid foundation, and you don't just go in with guns blazing and try to figure out, man, why do I have 6,000 killed troops every time I go in there? Well, if you understand the basics, you'll figure it out pretty quick. Anyways, I'm Combat Carl. This is the Old Man Gamer Network, and we are in the basic part of EVONY, The King's Return combat. I'm going to go kill some robbers. You guys have a good one. Cheers. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us today. Be sure to tap that thumbs up button if you think we've earned it, and be sure to hit the subscribe button and that little bell to be notified when new content comes out. Be sure to check out these other videos, and I'm Combat Carl for Old Man Gamer Network. You guys be sure to go straight home. No screwing around.